Okay, thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Vulcan Report. First and foremost, I just want to thank all of my subscribers. Thank you for an amazing year. 2010 was full of surprises and twists and turns and all that stuff. Not to mention the infamous May the 6th of 2010, which was an amazing day in the market. It really showed the strong pimp hand of our shadow government system and their ability to pimp stock market prices and the like. It also marked the beginning of the new global infrastructure. Now that we have all the different markets connected now, interconnectively woven, almost sort of like the commodities markets. Basically, we've created one giant commodity market where with the push of a button we can have a total collusion within the general market space and disrupt the market dynamic as a whole. So we pretty much sealed the conditional executive order of consolidating the market's power and infrastructure under the umbrella of the Federal Reserve System. So now the foreign central banks totally control the global market landscape. Those are just a few of the developments that we encountered in 2010. 2010 also marked the beginning of the actual demise of the United States of America. The United States of America is now being absorbed into the new world order, or the new one world government system. So within the next 3 to 5 years, we'll probably see the total implosion of our society as we begin to fall under the new order, or the new global government. There's still a few more things and details that need to be ironed out and worked out before the one world system takes into total effect. But in the meantime, it is being marshaled and controlled under different mechanisms, if you will. But for the most part, all of the major players within the UN space are electronically connected. So with the flip of a switch or a click of a button, they can all communicate to each other. All the major governmental bodies can communicate on and be on one link. All the backup systems were put into place this year so that in the event of a calamity, if you will, or some type of a how can we say this, a terrorist strike or terrorism, the continuity of infrastructure will still be intact and remain in place. So all of that has now been completed. So if the city of New York were to be decimated by a nuclear warhead, the financial markets would not miss a step, because the infrastructure in place has already been put there. So even though we have the figurehead of the New York Stock Exchange, just using that as an example, that is not really the actual place where everything needs to be centered at. It's no longer the center of the world. It really doesn't have a center anymore. It has a mainframe, if you will, motherboard somewhere. Another thing that we were able to do in 2010 was to put into place the control mechanisms for the meltdown of the U.S. banking system. Under the secret bills that have been passed in the middle of the night, excuse me, and normally on Sundays when everyone is at church or chilling watching a football game, we've been able to pass healthcare bills and other bills stuffed with secret shadow government infrastructure type legislation that will help to facilitate the demise of the United States as we know it. We also have secretly built up a replacement constitution to replace our existing constitution, and we have new executive orders that have completed that. Pretty much everything that needs to be done has been done. All of the underground bunkers and bases have been, for the most part, completed. The black budget was all the money there has been replenished. The Federal Reserve has been successful in passing all of the different phases of quantitative easing, and a lot of that money was put into place to help the banks that are going to help facilitate the demise, to stay afloat and to absorb smaller banking institutions. So instead of banking institutions totally imploding and going away and taking down the financial system with them, they're just simply absorbed into larger entities. Bank of America, for example, is one of those entities. With the quantitative easing, the Federal Reserve now does not have to announce who they're helping. They've made it official. The first round of quantitative easing that we experienced in 2008 was the first test of that, to see how public opinion would fly by the Federal Reserve blatantly refusing to tell you where the money went until they felt ready. And even when they did tell you, they still didn't tell you the whole story. Well, they've now made it official so that they really don't have to tell you. They have even more power to do whatever they need to do and however they want to do it. That's why a lot of the money that was funneled out of our country into other foreign institutions was done, because some of those foreign institutions are also going to take part in the New World Order establishment or the new financial system. They've been very successful in putting together the new monetary policy under the new monetary system, or the new means of electronic and digitally transferable credits, because that's going to be the new system. It's going to be all digital and electronic. Nothing new, actually, because the old system is still digital and electronic. So this new infrastructure is just going to go mainstream. It's been piloted now for over 10 years. Our entire monetary system has been electronic, to be quite frank with you. There's really no technically printing of money per se. When they need to do something, they don't just literally print off bills off the press. That's just a figure of speech. It's electronically transferred credits. Well, that's going to be mainstream now. They've been getting the public used to the idea of using debit cards and credit cards, and now they're starting to now roll it out in phases as far as getting the public used to the microchip implant, because that's also going to be part of it now. We don't have to literally carry a national ID card. Also getting the public used to the naked body scanners is also part of phasing in the new technology. And they do it through implementation. And they chose the airports because that is where the highest amount of traffic is. And you can get people used to the new government intrusiveness by using the body scanners, even though there's no precedent for using the body scanners. Another thing that we have seen this year also is the ability to change the rules. And what I mean by that is the old laws of economics no longer apply under the new monetary system. So really the new monetary system is already in place. That's why you see the new laws of economy already in existence. Let's visit that a little bit deeper so I can explain it to you. Basically, under economics, excuse me, we have certain correlations and non-correlations of financial instruments that are designed to serve a particular purpose to help Fed policy. Well, we see now the breakdown of those correlations now to achieve the new monetary policy, even though this new monetary policy is not readily available to the public. So they've been not only practicing and and putting out pilot programs for various parts and segments of the society, but we see that total breakdown in those systems. For instance, a few months ago, I did a series of videos explaining that for a time there's going to be a window where you're going to see equities rally alongside of the US dollar, and that you would also see those treasury yields rally as the bond prices fall, and you'd also see commodities rally and precious metals. Well, that window has not closed yet because they're not finished with the piloting of the new monetary system. See, because of the time limit we have on this video, and because of my time limit, I'm just going to try to hit certain points. So I'll just say this: the window has not been closed yet because that process has not been completed. The U.S. dollar is not going anywhere. The idea of the U.S. dollar implosion is part of the new economic system. So you have to let people think and feel a certain way so that you can achieve certain goals and phase out old ways of doing things and bring in a new way of doing things. So the US dollar is not going anywhere. And what you have to realize too is that because it's a fiat economic system, it can be controlled and manipulated to do whatever they need or want it to do. So even as you go to the pump and fill up your car and go to the grocery store and buy vegetables or what have you, you can see certain price activity even though it doesn't correlate on the actual open market. Example, crude oil can be at $150 a barrel and you pay $5 at the pump, which you would say that's a pretty good correlation. Or you can have an opposite effect where crude oil can be $90 a barrel and gas is over $3 at the pump. Okay, so the correlations are not necessarily there, and the way they've been doing it incrementally, most people are not even aware of what's been happening. For instance, you have a national average of gas at around 265. Now I'm here in the Washington D.C. area, and we were at like between 269 279 for months as the crude oil price is oscillated. At some points $20, and still the price of the pump did not change. Now that we're around $90 a barrel, prices where I am are around $2.78, $2.79 a gallon. Some parts I've seen it as high as $3.03 a gallon. But those correlations are not necessarily there. Those prices can be manipulated any way they need to see fit to do it. It has nothing to do with supply and demand, or even artificial supply and artificial demand. Well, you're going to start to see that going into 2011. You're going to see a lot more layoffs, a lot more companies folding up. You're going to see a massive increase of poverty. You're going to see probably Dow 40,000. You're going to see precious metals continue to go up. You're going to see the US dollar go up. It could even break par and go to like 126 again, or somewhere in the 120s. You're also going to see, like I said, precious metals go through the roof. The commodity space are going to go up through the roof. And there's going to be a lot of societal breakdown and shift as people get more desperate and more deeper into poverty. You're going to see a larger divide between rich and poor, and the financial markets are going to be the last bastion of wealth for those that know how to move within that space. Because when there are no jobs and benefits are beginning to be cut back, or entitlements are being cut back, then people get more desperate. You still have to eat. A lot more will be said about that, and I might be able to do some more videos about that. But just again, a recap, the Bank of America situation has been quietly remedied for now, as they're going to be part of the new economic system. In addition to that, you will not see a market collapse. It's not going to happen. It's going to be the opposite. You're going to see equities go through the roof along with precious metals and commodities, and the dollar will remain strong, and yields will continually go higher on bonds as the bond prices continue to plummet. That's pretty much it. That's all I have to say. Happy New Year to everyone, and Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, and take what you can, give nothing back. Peace out.